Alrighty-o, some time ago, I guess last year, I bought this little guy. It's not little, he's actually big and fat. It's the Sunrise Express, but I called it quite the blob. Blobby looking thing. I think it's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous, but look how like bloated the train itself looks. But I love it nonetheless. So, with that purchase, I also bought a lighting kit for it. This is a much different lighting kit than I had ever seen before, but I haven't installed it yet, obviously, and so that's what I'm gonna go do today here, is put these babies in. So let me start by taking out the actual lighting kit here itself, and you can see how different it is. I think this is maybe specifically for this set or something. Maybe Kato's going to this new style, I don't really know, but you do get the traditional little copper connectors there. Probably worth a pretty penny since copper is way up in price. You get your standard little lights also to make the connection between those copper strips and the light itself. And then you get into the weird stuff. So if I open up these lights, whoa, what is this thing? There's like reflective tape. That's different for sure. But these are the lights. Look how they're like differently shaped. They got this little like U curve thing going on, which is weird to me because most of the Kato lights have been straight so far. I assume this may help with the diffraction of shooting the lights through down the track or train. I don't know, but there's 7 here. There should be 7 cars. That's exactly what's here. So yeah, every one of these is exactly the same. None of them look customizable or custom for a given car. So I'm just gonna start here with an easier one, maybe right here in the middle. If you've never installed lights before, it's actually pretty darn easy. Most of the Kato ones already have copper connectors you can see for the wheels. So the electricity obviously comes in through the track, picks up by these wheels that then carry it to the copper connectors here, and then you'll see another little copper thingy right in there that brings it up. And then you take one of these little slot things, you slide it in like that, so that makes a connection with this little guy here, and then you bring that up to here, these little end loops, and then that connects to the actual LED light itself. You plop that down like this, and then it brings up the electricity and then shoots the light that way. So again, if you've seen this before, you know what I'm talking about. And if you haven't seen this before, you will soon know what I'm talking about if that didn't make any sense. So let me figure out how to go ahead and open up these guys. Usually it's pretty easy. You just kind of bend it out like that and pull it down. This one is actually very easy. Slides right on out. Look at that, it's all yellow inside. Did not expect that. Because you can't really see the inside from the windows, but this guy specifically, I love this thing. Like, okay, so this is obviously some kind of sleeper train, and I'm sure it's built to scale and everything, but you can see like, this would be your hallway, I assume, coming in this way, and then there's stairs going down here and stairs going up here to your room, and if you flip it around, look at that. I don't know if these are meant to be 2-story rooms, which would be super cool because you get like a bedroom and like a living room and a bathroom, I guess. That would be awesome. But yeah, this would be your bedroom, at least a bedroom, and maybe one or the other. I don't really know in true life, but that's really cool how this is designed. I've taken the Amtrak overnight sleeper car before, but that's the only thing I've ever done. So now the question is, which side does the lights come in on? I think, just based on looking at this, so this is where your little copper slots would go in those holes there. I think, it looks like it. And then this side doesn't have that, so I assume you don't put it on this side, it comes on this side. So let me take out some copper thingies there and get that going. All right, so we got our little truck here. We got a copper connector. Even these are different. Usually there was like a little like squiggly in the top part here, but this is just up and over, so we'll see what that does. If it's anything like before, you just kind of take it and then slide it in like that. And then, let's see. I guess you just slide it in. And then, maybe? Oh yeah, these are way different. Even these guys are different. So, where's the actual light? It almost looks like I slide this in there. And I think I do, because look at that. But then where's the light at? The light's right here. So do I go like... Oh, interesting. How does this work? I gotta read the book, because this is all messed up from what I'm used to. Let me look. Alright, after reading through the book and translating all this nonsense, it's a little bit more complicated than the last time I did lights for Katos. This little hook apparently snaps into the light itself. Great. Now I won't have as much flickering job anymore. And then somehow you got to use that aluminum foil thing. This guy, cut it down to size to 9 millimeters, I guess. Maybe that's to scale. And then apparently you tape it or somehow apply it to the back. I don't know. This part is a little unclear to me right now. I'm just gonna have to do it. And then somehow it all comes together. I think you put this clip on first and then the hooks? Or that first? Yeah, this slides in first because that says number 1, and then this goes next when you clip it down. So I gotta figure out how the clips actually power this thing. It looks like that piece connects to these little guys here and then it all powers up. It is a little bit more complex than the other lighting kits I put on, but looking at how they designed this, in theory, it should stay tight better, so it won't be as flickery, hopefully, I think is the idea. Again, I don't know if this is just specific for this train itself and maybe a couple of others, because it did say if you had this other type you had to cut off the light, but I don't think I need to do that for this guy. But yeah, it's a weird thing, but I think it will work better in theory. We'll see if it does. So let me see about putting on this first guy. All right, we had that first copper clip in there. I'm gonna slide in the second one like so. Bam. So that's there together there. And then we take a light and a deflector. And then somehow this clips onto something. I gotta think. It looks like this part is the end with the little clippy. So this must clip on using these little, tiny little clips. Gotta clip onto the light like that. That's a pretty snug fit, I guess. And then they want me to put some kind of tape. I gotta cut this down. All right, I cut down my little aluminum foil, it says, but let me see if I can unsticker it. All right, so both sides are kind of reflective. I'm trying to figure out how I actually stick this thing in here, because it says to just slap it down. I guess like before this little circle thing, I guess. So let me see if I can maneuver that somewhat, because it doesn't exactly fit. Oh. Well. That's about as good as that's gonna get. I don't know if this is right. It seems wrong because I had to like force it in there. But maybe it is. Yep. Sticker is stuck. I think this might help with some directing the light this way with the reflection, and it also, since it sticks to the white part and this part, it maybe helps it clamp it down so that it stays put. All right, now that that's on, let's see how this sucker goes onto the actual car. So it looks like if I take it like this, and then you take it like this, and somehow that clips in like so, and then there's something over here it looks like too. I gotta pull this up and clip it down so that it stays in there, maybe? Let's see. There's these little hole things here, and I feel like I gotta like pull it forward and then slide it down like that, and then that's pretty snug. Did it work over here? Yeah. All right, so that's pretty tight. This part looks a little weird. Why is that not centered? Yeah. Okay. I always thought the Kato ones were a little loosey when it came to like connecting all this stuff up. And I feel like it still is, even after this like weird redesign, if that's what this is. Because it still doesn't want to go where it wants to go. This part I know snugs into that. That I know. Then you come over here and it's still wrong. Why is it not? This doesn't want to center up for some reason. No, it keeps sliding on me. You had a perfect opportunity to design something good and you didn't. Tomix lights are easy. It's just a little spring. So no matter where you are, it's always going to be connected because it's a spring. It maintains the tension. This goofy thing just does not want to. All right, so in the instructions, I noticed there's this little hole thingy here, right? See that in the middle? I think that's supposed to slide into this hole. But if I do that, let's see what happens. It looks too big. I don't know how that's gonna fit. Well, maybe it does. Is that too big? Up, up, up. I got it. Look at that. Slap that puppy down and look at that. We are in. I don't know how, I don't know why, I don't know how it happened, but that's sort of straight. Still a little cockeyed, but I don't care. Everything clamped down together somewhat. And see, look at this too. It's like this connector just looks goofy. Like, should it be sliding out like that to the side? Or should it be like under? Like, see, this one comes up over the top and it's connected. This side is not tall enough to do that? What? Are there different size copper thingies? Let me undo this again. Ooh, how do I even undo that? Man, once you are in there, you are in there. Okay, how do you undo this? I guess it's not meant to come off once you got it in. I don't want to snap anything. Ooh. Okay. So this thing looks like it's supposed to go like that. Okay, this side seems correct. Where it's raised, it comes up and it comes up over that little lip. You can see there. But on this side, I guess I gotta snap it into there like that. Okay, that's feeling a little better. You pop it into that little hole. Again, I feel like this could be designed a little, oh, it popped off. And of course I snapped this thing down. No. Why? I do like how it's supposed to lock down now versus before it was just all over the place. But man, if you gotta do maintenance on this, this is hard to get undone. sucker is in there. Ooh, baby, that took some doing to get off, but I did pop it out. I popped everything back together, and we are looking snazzy right now. So, ooh, I don't know. That redesign is tough. Big old learning curve to figure out what the heck to do, but I think we're good. So, one down. Now I gotta, of course, when I turn this over, all the windows come out. Let me pop those back in. All right, windows on, this thingy. Usually there's an arrow somewhere. I don't see an arrow this time. I guess it's by the window, right? So like this side obviously has the double decker. And these windows are not playing nice on me. I want to stay in place. Man, that was a real doozy getting that window back up in there, and I don't even know if I did it right, so this is as good as it's gonna get. It looks indented, it doesn't look like it actually popped back in, but I could not figure it out. I fiddled with it forever, but this is what we got. So, okay, as you should always do, you should always test these things and make sure you did it right. So the track is powered here. I'm gonna pop this on for a quick little test, and naturally it does not work. Huh. I am quite certain this is powered. I can even grab the engine car here to see. I think technically it's going this way. Yeah. Great. It is powered. So, I thought I had this thing solved. Why doesn't this work? Why doesn't this work? We are definitely powered, but I don't know what's happening because you can see right here, you can see the copper connector is connected to the copper thing on the bottom, which tells me that there is a solid connection between the wheels and the actual copper strip. Over here, you can see the copper strip comes up and does make a connection with the actual light. And it's like that on both sides, so why doesn't the light turn on? That is a big old mystery. Alright, slap together another one here. This one looks good. It's a little easier now that I knew what I was doing. But in theory, this should work because it should all be working. So let's see. Hey, we got a light. Sort of. It's a little flickery, but it works. I thought this was supposed to stop that nonsense. This is not giving me a lot of confidence here of what's happening. Alright, so I noticed like this little copper guy was like slid out to the side a little bit, so I tried to undo this like the other one to try to pop it off. And it's very difficult once it's in there because the clips down below keep it there and then this top thing keeps it down. And so I was like really trying hard not to like snap or break it, and I still couldn't get it off, but I was able to slide the little thingy in. But now when I put it on the track, there's no lights again, just like the other ones. So I'm like, did I break the circuit somehow by trying to take the clip off? If so, that's absurd, because how am I supposed to do this if you did it wrong, like how I had it apparently? So I don't know what's happening. This is stupid. This should be way easier than it is, but it's not. I don't know why they made it so difficult. It should just be a clip that clips actually on the thing very easily. Why am I going through all this nonsense of taping and clipping it down, and now I can't pop it off? Silly, silly, silly design. So I gotta figure out what's even happening here and if I even broke it. Which might have been the case, which I think is silly. Because how am I supposed to get this off once it's on? There's no clear way to do that, from what I can tell. Okay, Kato. I'm calling you Kato. This sucks. I'm pretty much giving up. I fiddled forever to get those other two to actually work, could not do it. And then I'm like, all right, let me try like the front and the back end. And when I go to take this off, it seems like it should be easy, but that's as far as you get. I cannot, for the life of me, figure out how to snap this front part off. It looks like it's all unsnapped, and the other one does it too. This guy, same thing. I cannot undo this. And then of course this thing snapped off, so I can pop it in the back, but I can't really pop it back into the front. And it's just so frustrating because I can't figure out how this pops off, and I certainly don't want to break anything. Do I have to like squeeze that? Maybe? No. This is absurd. This is stupid. This is dumb. So I can't install these silly lights. They don't even work. When I saw they were a new design, I thought for sure they would have designed it better, but this is even more frustrating than the other ones. It didn't work for me, and I do not understand why this is so hard to design. You can't really come up with a clip that comes down here and just clips in and you're done? Like, why do you make this difficult? I'm very frustrated with this. I've never given up on a project yet. But my oh my, I am ready to throw in the towel on this one, because this is silly. I've spent way too much time on this trying to figure out even how one works, let alone all 7. And I can't open the front, can't open the back. Good lord, how, I haven't even tried the motor yet, but I'm pretty much giving up. I don't understand why this is so difficult, but it just is. If you've installed lights on one of these, I would love to know your thoughts and how it worked for you, because this is just crazy. I don't get it. I really don't. I don't understand why it's so hard. I don't want to break anything. I don't understand why the lights don't work, even though everything looks good and locked down. It's just frustrating, as you can tell. So, sorry to disappoint, but I'm blaming this one strictly on the Kato Corporation for not designing a light that's easy to install. If it was this difficult, why didn't this set just come with lights to begin with? Alright, on the epilogue, because I thought I was done with this thing. I thought I'd try one more trick up my sleeve after thinking about it. So when I did the Twilight Express, this is the Sunrise Express. So ironically, of course I had to try the same trick. I was having some struggles too with getting that to turn on some of the cars, and I ended up bending this thing. I took this end here and bent it back, which meant that when you slide it in, it kind of pushes down to help keep a connection there. Which seemed to have worked on that one, so I thought I'd try it here, as well as I ended up trying to bend these guys back too, instead of flipping it up over the top of the thing like it kind of shows in the book, I thought. Okay, so no, it never actually shows you the end state in the book, which may be some of my problems here, but it definitely says slide these in straight, and that was definitely not working on the other one. So I tried it here on this guy, bent it back, so it tries to keep a little bit more better pressure on the bottom. Now, this is the first one that I had problems with, but look at that! We have lights. That is correct. There is a light at the end of the tunnel, and at least I got these guys working for now. They are a little flickery though, from what I would prefer, as you can see as I'm rolling it down the track. Pretty sure the track's clean, so I don't know what's causing that. Even if it was dirty, that seems to be very sensitive to the track. But I don't think that's the case, so I still think there's a loose thing somewhere, but at least they turn on this time, so there's hope. Now I still got to figure out how to actually undo the front car. Haven't figured that part out yet, but at least I can show this, that, hey, we have light. Let there be light, and this thing might live on to see illumination, which I thought was dead in the water when I couldn't get it to work at all. So let me play around with this some more, get those other cars all set up and done, and then we can take a quick little run around to show you what the end result ends up being, assuming I can get that front thing off. Okay, this thing is a mess, and it's not inherently obvious on how you get this off. Of course, I've been fiddling with it forever. It's very tough, but I think I figured it out. Upon reading how to actually do this online elsewhere, you don't try to take off the back first. You try to, let me see if I can do this right. Somehow you like slide this whole piece that way once you loosen it up. And I'm gonna see if I can do that. I think you like slightly take it out and then try to slide it. And hopefully, according to what I saw, it should slide right out. Let me see. LOL, I still can't get it even though I slid it back. And there was a gap there. I need to keep playing around with this. I cannot figure out how to do this. You can see there's a big old gap there. I cannot tell where in the world it's still hooked to. Everything's loose. The 2 dots there are loose. Everything's loose. The front is loose. There's nothing hiding up there anywhere. It just does not want to pop out. Why is this so difficult? You'd think it'd be easy. Everything else has been fairly easy, but this one's been a real doozy of it. And of course the other one's gonna work the same way, so I can't figure this out just yet. Alright, after way too long figuring it out, I think I finally got it. So yay, look at that, it pops up. It looks like there's a missile inside or something. Good news, it worked, and it didn't break anything. I don't know what it could have been stuck on. Everything else is like, it was loose. There's nothing up here you can see that it was stuck on. Nothing there was stuck on. For whatever reason, I was just having a heck of a time getting this off. It's been like 2 days me trying to fiddle with this, trying to figure it all out. But I finally did, thank God. Okay, good, big check there. That probably means I can figure out the back too, and we are smooth sailing ahead of here. Also worth noting, I think, and I saw this when I was trying to figure out how to unlock this. Apparently, and this was all not very clear in the instructions, I did translate everything and read through it all, so I thought I knew what I was doing, but it wasn't very apparent. A couple things. First of all, this little guy, you do install it, but because of these front thingies, you have to like snap off the front. And I thought that was a different train, but maybe it was specifically for the front and back cars. Why wouldn't you just design a light that can fit this hole? I don't know. You know, give me 2 special different ones versus all 7 the same. But yeah, we gotta snap that off because it ain't gonna fit. No big deal, I can do that. It has been done before. Ow! That one got me. Ow! Ah. That one got me right there. I've been injured and have the runes to prove that I snapped lights once before. So I know how to do that, blah, 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 whatever. The other key trick that I didn't also catch in the instructions originally was that 2 of these have little holes in them. You can see here and here, I plucked those out. Luckily I didn't use them already on those other guys. And then these guys, one's a shorty, this one, and then these are the normal ones. This one is for the engine car as well as these little hole ones. So glad I figured that out or saw that, because I might have been trying to do some other car and it would have really threw me for a loop for sure. So, all right, downhill stretch, here we go. We're very close. Thank God, because this is probably the world's longest install light video. All right, here's what's frustrating about all this, and something I just do not understand. Trying to light up this front piece. Everything's connected right. You can see over here in the back, we have lights. We have a solid connection between that and the copper strip. Copper strip is solidly connected to the bottom. I can see it in that little increase there. It connects to the car connects to it, blah, 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 blah. Everything looks right. Obviously the lights are on. The front ones, they don't even blink at all. Look how great that is. That is a solid connection to the electricity. But for whatever reason, this sucker is not lighting up, and I don't understand why, because I fiddled with it for like 10 minutes and everything just keeps looking correct. Even these back ones that I already did, like, why do they blink so much? When it, like, I don't get it. Why? Look, it's like off. And that's not a good look, because it's just gonna keep blinking on me. Whereas if I take this guy and roll him down, like, why are these solidly on and then the back ones just don't work? I don't get it. It doesn't make any sense. This is just impossibly frustrating. All right, one more little trick to try. Maybe this is what I should have been doing the whole time, but in order to stop some of that flickering that I can't seem to get rid of, slide this in And instead of bending it back and pushing it down on the copper connector that's running along this whole flat part, I'm taking it straight in and then bending it down to make a connection here. That does force it to connect. You can see right here, I already installed this one. I bent it down. If I go to do this other one, if you slide it straight in, like you do, when it pops out the other side, you'll see it pop up above that little thingy there. But I'm gonna take this and, like the other one, but kind of bend it down so that it forces it under that part. Can't really see it because it's all not staying in focus, but you get the idea. So one more trick. Let's see what that does to it. Maybe that will help. I don't know. Funny thing too is I noticed like the other sides are also powered for no reason whatsoever. You can see there's already a strip in there. This side doesn't talk to this side, so I don't know what that's about. At least I don't think it does. There's nothing down there. It goes to nothing, and there's no way to install lights on this side. So what is the point of doing all this on this side when only this side has the connector and the lights and everything that will pop up over here? I kind of like the way Tomix does some of their lights, where this part is also powered, the coupler itself. So you actually share power amongst all the cars. That's how my Shikishima works, and there's no flickering hardly ever with that, because you're sharing power across all cars. All, you know, there's that 8 wheels per car times 8 cars. You know, do the math. That's 64 wheels constantly sending power to the lights above. That's how you do it. I wish Kato would do a very similar design. Just seems to work better. But until that happens, I have to deal with this silliness and trying to stop this flickering from happening, which may or may not be the case when I go to do the final test here. This is the last car, thank God. We're probably finally gonna see some lights here in a minute. If you stuck around the whole thing, you're about to get paid off for the end result here. So here we go. One more light to install, and then we can light her up. Good Lord, good Lord, good Lord. Day 4 of the expedition. I think we're finally ready to see some lights here. It took forever. I don't know why. It's not like I'm a noob to this. I've done many lights before. But for whatever reason, this one really threw me for a loop. Kept testing it, kept trying to get it to deflicker. Once I figured it all out, I still never quite figured out how to take this off properly. I just kind of got lucky a couple times after fiddling with both of them for like an hour each to jam it up under, and I still couldn't figure out why it wouldn't disconnect from itself. It's very odd. Something obviously was causing it, but I could not figure that out to save my life. But did eventually figure it out, I guess, by accident and whatever. Okay, great, sure, whatever, fine, okay, good. Doesn't matter. This thing's ready to go. Let's see what actually happens. I haven't tested this at all with the full lights yet. I tested each individual car, mostly before I even put the thing back on. So let's see what happens here. I have no idea. I'm expecting it to be very flickery, because that's what I saw when I was testing it. Track is clean, that I know. Let's just see what happens. Alright, so cranked her up to a decent speed until it stops. What happened here? Alright. Lights do turn on! I didn't see too much flickering actually. Let's see what happens around the corner here. If it moves at all? What the heck? Why is that happening? Just when you thought you had it all figured out. What in the world? go. Alright, lights aren't too bad actually, like I said. Alexa, turn off the lights. Let's see. I just don't understand that engine. Okay, well, problems all over the map. Why are you having trouble getting going? Maybe it's been sitting a while. I haven't really used this at all since I unboxed it because I knew I was gonna do the lights. Do I need to warm up that engine first? Because this is kind of crazy. Yikes. World's longest light install video, that's for sure. There we go. Alright. Looking good. At this speed, not much flickering, but it definitely happens. Ooh, what was that? But the lights look good when they're on. I do like how it's more of a hushed, like orange almost. Not like a bright white. Guess that makes sense because it is the Sunrise Express. Something's up with that engine, I bet. You can hear it like sputter out. And like I said, I know the track's clean because the other engines was working fine a minute ago. Eee, let me hit them lights. Here it is in darkness. No moon, no stars, just lights from the train. Always looks cool when they stay on. It like hits the brakes. It's really weird. Look at that. That's cool. Very nice. Alexa, turn on the strip. How about a nice blue to complement the train? This is like too fast for me though. I really need it to be a little slower. I don't know why it keeps sputtering out like that. That's weird. Maybe too when it warms up a little more, it will stop flickering as much as it does. Because right now it's just a flashing dance party in there. Well, at least they work. It's a far cry from where I thought I was. Alright, lights back on for another pass here. Is this a win? I don't know. Like I said, it's still a bit flickery. But that's alright, I guess. At least it works. That's the big problem right there, that it's actually solved. I'd love to slow it down a little more if I could, because this is too loud for my taste, especially if I want a nice cool looking train at night during the lights off phase. I'll do here. Alexa, turn on the lights. This is what you want, a cool twilighty train, way slower than this. At night, so you can enjoy the ambiance, which I will do as this fades into the sunset, because this is way too long of a video. But that's what happened. So, you know, train aside, the lights are cool, of course. You always gotta like them. But let's see when it comes back around how slow we can go with the lights staying on. So that wouldn't be a bad speed right there. You can see it over the bridge. Are the lights on? Kind of always hard to tell at that part because they're so bright. But coming out of the bridge, flickery. Very, very flickery. That one isn't. But every other car is. No matter what trick I tried to pull to make it try to not do that. Well, I'm gonna keep playing around with this little guy. Hopefully at some point I can get it to stop doing that nonsense. And fix whatever is happening to that power car, because it just is sputtering all over the place. Like I said, it's probably because it needs a little oil. Maybe it's been sitting a while. I haven't run it since I unboxed it. Maybe that's my fault for not oiling it up before. I didn't even think of that. But it kind of died there, so yeah, let's just call it. It's been fun in ways I mean it has not. What can you do? Sometimes it's just a thing. Alright, this video is probably going to be my longest ever based on my experience. But it is what it is. Hopefully you can avoid some of the, I don't even want to call them mistakes, trials that I've had to go through to get this thing working. Like I said, it is what it is. Wish it could have been better. A better experience, better lights. I do, again, reiterate that I like the Atomics model where every car shares power with the other. So that just helps tremendously keeping down that flickering for sure. So get on that, Kato. I want to see it happen. Let's do it.